My name's Henry Volans. I'm head of Faber Digital. I've been at Faber for just over 6 years now. But my publishing background really began in Edinburgh, where I grew up at Canongate, where I spent the summer. So I learned the trade with Francis and Jamie and others at Canongate before coming to Faber. My role at Faber has evolved from an editorial one, where I began assisting some of the non-fiction editors, through to commissioning as an editor myself, before moving in parallel with that into audiobooks, and then back in 2008, as eBooks first hit this country, I was involved in the development of our first ebook list. So I've been through, and I think that straight editorial background is really useful and interesting, and still one of the most interesting bits to my role now, I think. So that role now has moved away from ebooks, as we've tried to make sure that ebooks just become part of the company's business, of the roles of everyone here, from editors, project editors, production. My role now is to work on digital products and projects that in some way go beyond the ebook as we now understand it, and I'll come on to those in a bit. There's a lot going on, many of which projects I can't mention in detail yet, although I hope by the time this airs, some of them will have been announced indeed. To start with one that I'm happy to mention, it's around the interesting thing about this project is it's not directly about books, it's about the Faber Academy, which is our creative writing school, which has been running now as a series of face-to-face courses here in London, in Paris, in Dublin and elsewhere for 2 years now. My role in the project has been to develop an online equivalent of these courses. We've conducted a lot of research, finding out what makes people tick, what we can transfer from the face-to-face courses to an online world that will retain meaning and value, how you have the sense of a tutor, how you use the social element of online worlds to benefit, how the peer group can help one another. The results of all that have been really encouraging, and come spring next year we will be launching online courses. Other work I'm doing, perhaps almost inevitably, we have a number of applications in development for both iPhone, iPad, and certainly with a mind to other platforms further down the line. And they cover what we're developing, although I can't mention them specifically now. They cover a wide range from some of the major brands that we publish, some of which relating to comedy, right to the other end of the spectrum to some of the poetry for which Faber is so well known. Another of the apps, one of the ones I'm really looking forward to getting out, involves commissioning a Faber writer for an app-only project. There is no book, even ebook, parallel of this project. The writing exists solely for the app, and very much as part of a team project in collaboration with a whole team of software engineers, designers, and others. And all of these are slated to be out before Christmas, and I'm really looking forward to getting them out there. This is a really wide, hard question. What's the state of e-publishing? Firstly, being pedantic, I think it's the same question as what is the state of publishing. Sort of the prefix, the E prefix is quite misleading. I think, just as actually ultimately, I think it is with ebook and book. I think ultimately the term book is all that matters, certainly all that I really want to matter. If the state varies clearly globally, there's absolutely no question as a UK publisher that most of the movement and much of the initiative has been coming from the US. It's obviously changing. We have iBooks here now. As of last week, we have the UK Kindle store. But there's from the UK, there's inevitably been a sense of watching over the Atlantic for what's going on, and I much prefer having launches here so that we can see for ourselves what's going on. I think it's also true that the state of digital and publishing has been quite febrile. It's very debated, and a lot of it is not about really the creative side or even the content of the works in any significant sense. There are arguments and debates and heavy issues around business models, around pricing, around terms, around shares of revenue for different people in the chain, and then there are all kinds of other questions around piracy, territory, how publishers cope and manage and handle these things. And all these questions are hugely, unquestionably, they're hugely important. At the same time, I sometimes think it's a shame that so much attention goes to these rather than the kind of simpler sense for many books, which is talking, in my view, about a new format, a new kind of edition that should be made available. And I think the market needs the chance to develop as evenly as evenly as possible. Where we're coming to terms with digital, with a lot of the tools that have come about for print books, and one of the things I do look forward to over time is, I suppose, the operational side of digital publishing becoming just more reflex, becoming tailored better to digital as opposed to adapted from print, and so that publishers can get on with thinking primarily about publishing and having the tools for supply of metadata, and very importantly the other direction, sales reports back to publishers, and therefore that's what enables us to pay royalties to authors and to continue the chain. All those kinds of issues are hugely important. At the moment, they're taking up a lot of people's time, and I think one of the things I'm looking forward to is that becoming more established and less of a pull on people's time. Personally at Faber, I'm in the fortunate position at the moment where I'm not involved directly in the backlist production of eBooks in large quantity, or indeed the frontlist, but about these other projects, which in the main is allowing us, I think the learning curve there is a broader and different one. It's what is it to produce an app? What's the parallels? What, if any, are the parallels there between that and a normal book project? What is and other things that are simply business questions with the Academy Online. That's not directly about books at all, but it's about the art of teaching, the art of creative writing, what students need, what people expect from distance learning, online platforms, how peer groups can function there. And some of these are things that will be addressed when we go on to the next question on the state of where next.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can do, if you want to hear.
I think what I'd have it be is a point where what people are thinking about is the publishing side of things rather than the side of things, in the sense that what matters, what people are thinking about is the work, for want of a better word, the content. Is the book good? So that the other questions in between, is it easily accessible? Is it storable? Is the consumer experience of buying it good? Is the product good? Is the product, if not totally independent of devices, is it at least its own thing that's not subject to the whims and fluctuations of devices that change every few months? I mean, I love the devices as much as anyone, hugely, but I think there's a risk that people the devices are not the content. They are two separate things. I think there will, of course, be content that some of the most interesting content will be the content that's produced with the capabilities of the devices in mind. As I mentioned, we've got our own commissions for an iPad project. But I think in the longer run, what we're about is authored works, and for them to have primacy there or centrality would be great. I'd love to. There's all kinds of practical issues it would be great to have resolved that I was talking about earlier that I think will happen. I also think there are inevitably going to be the whole debate and the commercial struggles for the market, and that's certainly not going to be over anytime soon. I think that's going to grow and grow, and of course for the good reason that will be growing as the ebook market grows. In the future of digital content, digital works, I think these future works always will have greater variety than the established hardback and paperback formats we've come to know. There will be many, many more, and there will be a greater variety of products with it. You will have long-form narrative, and I'm pretty sure you'll have long-form narrative that in the end turns out not to be improvable by the enhancement of, be it audio, video. There will be some works that remains perfect and best as long-form text, but there will be many, many others which are improved and are totally transformed by shorter forms of writing, integration of different media. And these will always be inspired to a degree by the capabilities of the devices, screens, processing, many other features, some of which we're probably yet to imagine. But what I look forward to is the work and the content from this side of the fence, and we are on the publishing side of the fence here, being the focus of people's attention. Just as, while some of our authors are interested in the paper, the stock we print our books on, the majority are not. It's not a prevailing concern. The delivery mechanism is kind of sophisticated and grown up and taken for granted, and then begins to become invisible. And that's where we're not at with digital. The delivery mechanism, people are almost looking at the delivery mechanism more than they're looking at what's inside it. And at some points that can simply be a distraction. And I think with time, that may begin to fade. With time and familiarity, that may begin to fade into the background. In negotiating ebook rights and the whole conversation about ebook rights with authors and agents, clearly it is primarily a commercial discussion. I think I've never really been asked about at that early stage, what new digital formats might mean for the work. So I suppose the creative conversation, and I'd have always have loved for that conversation to feature alongside the commercial one, and it's quite a rosy wish, but it's definitely the thing I'd have always liked to have seen.